Hello and welcome to UGC EPG Pathshala. I am Anushri Nagpal from the Department of Geography, Jamia Millia Islamia. I am presenting this module on behalf of Dr. Anshu. In this episode, we will learn about the morphogenetic regions which comes under the paper Geomorphology. In this module, we shall learn first the concept of regions, formal and functional regions. Second, the concept of morphogenetic regions. Third, morphoclimatic zones. Fourth, geomorphic processes and interrelation with Köppen's climatic classification. Regions. Formal and functional regions are concepts that have been used by geographers to categorize the different areas of the world on basis of some unifying element. In physical and human geography, both regions have been profusely used such as natural regions, climatic regions, linguistic regions, cultural regions, etc. Morphogenetic regions are those in which the climatic phenomena give a pronounced distinction to the landforms and the geomorphic processes. Regions. Region is a dynamic concept which has been described differently by geographers on the basis of distinct characteristics. It is a homogeneous area on the Earth's surface marked with similar characteristics, making it different from other areas for geographers. The concept of region is very useful as it helps in organizing different attributes accordingly and thus making vast amount of information simple so that it can be understood on the basis of different spatial perspective. Famous French geographer Vidal de la Blache called areas with similar physical and cultural characteristic pays. Widely accepted definition of region is an area having homogeneity of physical and cultural phenomena. The basic idea of classification of region is to show homogeneity of geographical features, making it distinct individually on the basis of different features like vegetation, soils, climatic factors, structure, industrial resource regions, agricultural regions, settlements and distribution of population. Thus, through regions, geographers attempt to show distinct individuality with unique characteristics of the region. Concept of region can be universally applied and it is divided in two main categories, formal regions and functional regions. Formal regions. It is an area which has one or more characteristics in common. These shared characteristics can be at physical level like topography, soil, climate, vegetation, relief, at cultural level like language, religion and ethnicity, and organizational phenomena like socio-economic institutions. Best example of formal region is continents like Europe, Asia and Africa having distinct boundaries. Another example is equatorial region, tropical region, temperate region, tundra region which is characterized so on the basis of temperature and rainfall. Morphogenetic region is also the example of formal regions where it is classified on the basis of temperature and precipitation. Functional regions. Functional regions are spatial systems which is defined on the basis of interactions and connections, giving it a dynamic and organizational basis. It is organized in such a way that it functions as a single unit in terms of political, social and economic aspect. These are the focal regions which are connected by various systems such as transportation, communication and economic activities. City region is the best concept of functional region. The city region is an area of interrelated activities, kindred interests and common organizations brought into being through the medium of routes which bind it to the urban centers. And city of Delhi is example of a functional region as it serves as a focal point of all the economic, political and social activities catering to the surrounding region. Geomorphology and climatic geomorphology. While it is important to contextualize regions, both formal and functional, and understand the nature of morphogenetic regions, it is pertinent to relate to the themes of geomorphology and climatic geomorphology differently. Geomorphology is derived from geo meaning earth, morpho meaning form and logis meaning discourse. Geomorphology is the science which deals with the study of origin and development of landforms like sand dunes, caves, hills, valleys, and how all the landforms contribute to their formation of landscape. The core elements of all the subjects include evolution, change and analysis of landforms. Geomorphological studies include quantitative analysis of landform shapes, the monitoring of surface and near surface processes like running water, ice, wind that shapes the landform, and the characterization of landform changes that occur in response to factors like tectonic and volcanic activity, climate and sea level changes, and human activities. Division concept of landforms as a function of structure, process and time provided the foundation basis of the geomorphic study of landforms from structural, geomorphologic point of view and to understand the cycle of erosion. The various denudational process taking place on the Earth's surface is affected by climatic factors. Taking the importance of climate in sculpturing the landscape, a branch of investigation of geomorphology known as climatic geomorphology has evolved. Climatic geomorphology can be defined as a discipline that identifies climatic factors like intensity, frequency and duration of precipitation, frost, intensity, direction and power of wind, and it explains the development of landscapes under different climatic conditions. Earlier, the study of geomorphology has focused on the analysis of the sequence and nature of geomorphic events involved in the present configuration of the Earth's surface through geological time. Some geographers call this approach as historical geomorphology. The study of the working processes at smaller scale, together with the analysis of landform variability, has resulted in the quantitative or processes geomorphology. Morphogenetic regions. Morphogenetic region is a theoretical concept propounded by various geomorphologists to relate landforms and geomorphic processes with climate. This as a concept was first proposed by German geographer Julius Buddel in 1945. This concept asserts that under certain set of climatic circumstances, different sets of geomorphic processes predominate and produce distinct topographic features. This theory is based on the assumption that rock type resistant to erosion is dependent on the climatic conditions to which it is subjected. Now, it becomes clear by analyzing different factors that these landform features result from the interaction of rock type, physical processes and more predominantly climatic phenomena. In general, morphogenetic regions are large areas with distinct geomorphic processes like weathering, frost action, mass movement and wind action, which operate and tend towards the state of morphoclimatic equilibrium. It is an area where landforms are shaped by similar processes, more particularly by climate. In this, the distinctive morphogenesis of an area is investigated. According to Corley et al., the extent to which different climatic regimes are potentially capable of exerting direct and indirect influences on geomorphic processes and thereby of generating different morphogenetic landform assemblages. For this, sometimes climatic morphogenetic regions are also used. Penck in 1909 used arid, humid and nival as the name for zones with distinct climate, hydrology and geomorphology. Earlier, he recognized that these regions have shifted their earlier position during the warm and cold periods of Pleistocene, and later in 1913 he introduced the term pluvial. According to Peltier, morphogenetic regions are those geomorphic areas that are characterized by climatic regimes within which the intensity and relative significance of the various geomorphic processes are essentially uniform. They are defined broadly in terms of temperature versus rainfall, and 9 types of such regions were identified by him. Peltier also defined the main geomorphic agents, showing climatic fields of weaker or stronger action. The concept of a morphogenetic region is that under a certain set of climatic conditions, particular geomorphic processes will predominate and hence will give to the landscape of a region characteristics that will set it off from those of other areas developed under different climatic conditions. Morphogenetic regions are conceptual tools by which a geomorphologist relates climatic phenomena, processes, landforms and regions. The morphogenetic concept does not directly identify those features of a landscape which replicate factors other than process and climate. Thus, landforms whose origin is largely tectonic, lithological, structural, volcanic are not considered under morphogenetic classification but are discussed under the general heading of morphostructure. Also excluded are landforms which reflect processes that are relatively independent of climate, like wave-produced features. This type of classification takes into account region in which a distinctive complex of erosional, transportational and depositional processes is responsible for landform development. The system approach giving emphasis on process measurement and the relation between process and form has been successful in identifying many features of landscape that appear to show consistent relationship between inputs and outputs or form. Morphogenetic processes that forms the landform from earth materials are classified into two types, endogenetic and exogenetic. The endogenetic processes are energy forces which act within the crust of the earth, and it includes crustal or non-isostatic warping within the mantle causing earthquake, folding, faulting, metamorphism, etc. The exogenetic processes means the phenomena which act outside of the earth's crust, and it covers erosion and weathering and other surface processes under climatic influence. The duration, frequency and effectiveness of geomorphic processes record widespread distinguishing features in long time unit that are reflected on the landforms. The maturity and chronological sequence of landforms as well as the depositional pattern help reconstruction of climatic changes. However, while analyzing the sequence of fluvial or slope deposits, it may be concluded that the deposition represents only a small fragment of time, and on the contrary, much longer time intervals are reflected in a hiatus or in erosional surfaces. Peltier in 1950 produced a process-based classification of so-called morphogenetic regions based on an analysis of the ranges of temperature and precipitation within which 6 major geomorphic processes operate. Peltier identified the following 9 regions. First, glacial. Average annual temperature range 0 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall ranging between 0 to 115 centimeters. Dominant process, glacial erosion, wind action and nivation. Periglacial. Average annual temperature range 5 to 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall ranging between 10 to 140 centimeters. Dominant processes, strong mass movements, moderate to strong wind action and weak fluvial action. Peltier identifies a distinct periglacial cycle in cold, humid, subarctic regions associated with the production of 3 coexisting erosion surfaces. First, a surface of downwasting produced by congeliturbation. B, a surface of lateral planation produced where the water table and the zone of frequent nivation coincide. C, a stream graded or a graded surface. Davis regarded periglacial action as a climatic accident, but Peltier followed Stroll in believing its characteristics to be sufficiently significant and persistent to be separately categorized. Peltier considered each cycle, including the periglacial, to be normal within its own regime and an accident only when one morphoclimate temporarily encroaches on the another regime. The question remained, however, as to whether periglacial conditions have persisted long enough in any one locality to produce a distinctive set of landforms as distinct from mere embroidery of the landscape. Third, boreal. Average annual temperature range varying between 15 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall range between 10 to 60 inches. Dominant processes include moderate frost action, moderate to slight wind action, and moderate fluvial action. Essentially, Köppen's DFC region. Fourth, maritime. Average annual temperature range between 35 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall range 50 to 75 inches. Dominant processes include strong mass movements and moderate to strong fluvial action. It has been pointed out that Peltier's region 3 and 4 have no dominant geomorphic characteristics to distinguish them from region 2 and 6. Fifth, selva. Average annual temperature range between 60 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall range between 55 and 90 inches. Dominant processes include strong mass movement, slight slope wash and no wind action. This humid tropical morphoclimate was based on the work of Barnhart, Sapper, Fraze and Cotton. Sixth, moderate. Average annual temperature range between 35 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall between 35 and 60 inches. Dominant processes include strong fluvial action, moderate mass movement, slight frost action and no significant wind action. This approximated to Davis's normal cycle. Seventh, savanna. Average annual temperature range between 10 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall ranging between 25 and 50 inches. Dominant processes include strong to weak fluvial action and moderate wind action. Eighth, semi-arid average annual temperature range between 35 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall range between 10 to 25 inches. Dominant processes include strong wind action and moderate to strong fluvial processes. Includes the dry continental regions. Ninth, arid. Average annual temperature range 55 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Average annual rainfall ranging between 0 to 15 inches. Dominant processes include strong wind action and slight fluvial and mass movement. Processes. Morphoclimatic zones. In 1948, German geographer Buddle introduced the system of climatic geomorphology. He has given a descriptive analysis of the distinctive processes associated with each morphoclimatic zone. The most important aspect was the interrelationship of the processes in one zone, that is, the work of the river is dependent on the relief of the area, and further the precipitation controls the amount and time of discharge. The loads transported by river streams generally depends on slopes and creeks. A simplified morphoclimatic classification proposed by Köppen is based primarily on regional classification of vegetative significance with the combination of temperature and precipitation, which has given climatic expression to geomorphological significant processes. On the basis of this, he has identified 6 regions designated by capital letters A, B, C, D, E and H. These major regions have been subclassified using lowercase alphabets on the basis of precipitation, namely S, W, F, M, and temperature, namely A and B. C. These were grouped to generate 8 morphoclimatic regions which fall into 2 groups wherein the major geomorphic processes are either non-seasonal or seasonal. First, non-seasonal category includes the glacial, arid and humid tropical. These have non-seasonal processes normally having low average erosion rates, highly infrequent and episodic erosional activity like desert rainstorms, glacial surges and slope mass failures, and a tendency for the location of their cores to persist latitudinally at 90 to 25 degrees and 0 degrees respectively. During climatic changes, even if the climatic type is completely obliterated on occasions. B. Seasonal groups. These include tropical wet-dry, semi-arid, dry continental, humid mid-latitude and periglacial regions. These have processes which are more specifically seasonal in their operation, with places having high average erosion rates. Erosional activity through episodic shows some consistency over a period of years and a tendency for considerable changes of their size and location accompanying global climatic changes. Such regions are divided into 2 groups. First, warmer climates like tropical wet-dry and semi-dry. where geomorphic processes differ most significantly in terms of the length of the wet season. Second, cooler climates, including dry continental, humid mid-latitude and periglacial climates, whose geomorphic processes differ mainly in respect of summer temperatures as well as with some regard to precipitation amounts. Using the classic Davisian cycle as the basis, C. A. Cotton in 1942 identified 6 morphoclimatic regions including 4 main types and 2 transition types, each with characteristics mature landforms. First, normal, applying to humid temperate landforms. Second, glacial, including Davisian's glacial cycle but excludes periglacial landforms. Third, humid tropical. Fourth, arid, including landforms dominated by interior drainage like bahada and pediment extension, basin capture, slope retreat and the replacement of desert mountains by low dunes. Fluvial processes dominate but are increasingly assisted through time by aeolian processes. A sharp break appears to exist between the hill slope, that is 30 to 35 degrees or more, on the one hand, and the pediments and higher parts in the virtually flat bahadas on the other. Fifth, semi-arid. It is difficult to distinguish from arid conditions in terms of processes, but with the upper pediment slopes being steeper and breaks of slope less abrupt. The semi-arid morphoclimatic region is much difficult to distinguish from the arid and the savanna regions. Sixth, savanna, showing the flat plains and abrupt inselbergs. A more refined morphoclimatic classification was proposed by Budel. Underlining the intricacy of the climatic processes controlling the landforms, for example the number of frost-thaw cycles, Budel argues that major landform changes more slowly than climate and are thus relics of numerous past climates, and that any attempt to link present day climate and landforms must concentrate on those forms which are small scale and rapidly evolving. He proposed the following morphoclimatic classification involving 8 terrestrial regions and 10 subregions. First, glacier zone. Second, frost rubble zone. Third, tundra zone. Fourth, extratropical soil zone. A. Maritime temperature zone. B. Subpolar free without permafrost. D. Continental zone. E. Steppe zone. Fifth, Mediterranean transition zone. Sixth, arid rubble zone. A. Tropical Inselberg pediment desert zone. B. Extratropical desert zone. C. High altitude desert zone. 7. Wash plain zone. A. Tropical wash plain. B. Subtropical wash plain zone. 8. Intertropical mature equatorial zone. This type of classification created wide interest among geographers, though it was criticized for many reasons. Firstly, due to its azonal organization, subdivision of permafrost between frost, tundra, subpolar with permafrost, grouping of taiga and permafrost with maritime forest and steppe, and lastly the separate identification of the Mediterranean landforms. Tricart and Cayley proposed the following classification of morphoclimatic zones. According to them, vegetation type is an indirect impact of climate. Under the given climatic conditions, the plant cover modifies the morphogenetic processes, but in turn the latter impact the ecological conditions of the region, and thus there is an impact on vegetation. First, the cold zone. It includes A. Glacial, B. Periglacial, which was later subdivided into 5 by Tricart. Second, the mid-latitude forest zone, affected by past climates, particularly Pleistocene, and by human activity. It includes maritime, B. Continental, C. Mediterranean. Third is the dry zone, subdivided on the basis of A. Water deficiency into steppe, xerophytic bush and desert, B. Winter temperatures into cold and warm. Fourth, the humid tropical zone. It includes A. the savannas affected by earlier drier conditions, evidences of semi-arid pediplenation and of climatic changes in the form of cuirasses, that is laterites, calcerites and silicates. B. Tropical rainforests. From these broad morphoclimatic zones, Tricart and Cayley developed a classification of world morphoclimatic regions in which morphoclimatic and morphogenetic influences are not clearly distinguished. First, glacial regions. B. Periglacial regions with permafrost. Third, periglacial regions without permafrost. Fourth, forest on quaternary permafrost. Fifth, maritime forest zone of mid-latitudes with mild winters. Sixth, maritime forest zone of mid-latitudes with severe winters. 7. Mid-latitude forest zone of Mediterranean type. 8. Semi-desert steppe. Semi-desert steppe with severe winters. 9th, deserts with degraded steppes without severe winters. 10. Deserts and degraded steppes with severe winters. 11. Savannas. B. Intertropical forest. 13. Azonal mountainous areas. As per Buddell, the geographers have identified morphoclimatic and morphogenetic regions differently. Wilson identifies 5 regions: Peltier 8, Flon 8, Köppen 11, Stroller 14, Trevartha 16, Hornwaite 18. Finally, the following table presents a broad classification of morphogenetic region that has been devised by combining the distinct climatic characteristics, the geomorphic processes and the nomenclature as given by Köppen. Role of morphogenetic regions in land use planning. Different morphogenetic parameters like climate, lithology and structure, drainage and slope have direct consequences on the choice of natural land use practices. Thus, it becomes very important to take cognizance of physical limiting parameters while opting for land use planning. But instead of this, what actually happens is that physical determinants are ignored and the land use pattern are identified on the basis of economic, social and political. Thus, preceding land use planning, analysis of terrain conditions must take place. Terrain evaluation comprises classification of land and creation of data bank taking into account all the genetic factors which are the necessary for practical requirements of any land use planning. Land use pattern of an area is the result of the interrelationship between the people inhabiting the area and their environment. Terrain type and environment determine the type land use pattern of an area where land use practices itself can contribute to their change of landscape having long-term manifestations. In this module, region, both formal and functional, have been expressed. The morphogenetic regions that are formal regions have been analyzed in detail while distinguishing them from the morphoclimatic zones that have been proposed by various climatologists. The integration of climate with geomorphology, operating geomorphic processes and morphogenetic features that finally emerged have been represented in tabular form to get a synoptic view of the morphogenetic regions. Thank you.